Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 850 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by the duo of David Bray, John Kozak. We are here. Ben is not. He is on his celebrity book tour. His first of many, I'm sure. Trying to get his book, Funky, his Defiant crap. I know the title, Ben. Although, I'm not going to apologize because he said he was going to send it to me, and he claims he did. Mm-hmm. And yet... Lost in the mail. That's a good way to send a gift. That's how I'm going to do all my wedding gifts moving forward.
Smart.
Oh, JD's getting married. Oh, check the mail. Just keep checking. And then just say darn, and then he'll forget because he's madly in love.
Yeah.
Is JD. Episode 850, as you know, we celebrate our milestones here. We go above and beyond when we hit those, and 850 is a big one.
Yes.
So we're going to talk wrestling. We're going to do the show on a Monday today, which is also new, and that's the end of the special things we're going to do. Stayed up all night, watched the Astros. I almost went to bed, then my son guilt-tripped me in a way, and then I felt like a fraud, and it was fun. So go Astros. To those of you that participate in baseball conversation. We've got some wrestling to get to, boys. But first... Let's check in with John. John, what's going on, man?
With me?
Yeah, you.
Nothing. Good weekend. I'm ready to talk wrestling. The girls have been playing soccer, dominating on the field, undefeated this year, and so I'm fired up.
Yeah, it was a big weekend for youth sports for our families.
Oh man, yes.
You've got I don't know. Kozak has somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 children, all of which playing soccer. Bray's got 9. I just have 2. But how did he's on a team called the Outlaws. We have a lot of outlaw ties in our family because our wrestling club's called the Outlaws. His baseball team's called the Outlaws.
Yeah, but they're very different. I'm sure people are familiar. There's the Outlaws wrestling team, which we participate.
512.
512 Outlaws.
Shout
and
out.
Then we're the Hutto Outlaws with a Z. So that's how you can tell the difference.
That's pretty cool.
Both have skulls in their logos. The Punisher logo for the 512 Outlaws just ripped it.
We're just stealing that.
Yeah,
that's ours now. That's outlaw behavior. You steal logos.
Yeah, I'm sure your Hutto Outlaws was stolen from somewhere as well. But yeah, big tournament this weekend in Hutto, the Hutto tournament.
Wow. And
the Outlaws, they made it to the semis, and that's where the run fell short. They lost to the Chupacabras. And,
wow. Outlaws versus Chupacabras.
Got taken out by the Chupacabras. It was not close, but made it through pool play. Won in the quarters. Got beat in the semis.
Sounds like a AAA baseball, AA battle. Outlaws, Chupacabras. It's like dollar hot dog day.
Oh yeah,
I could see it.
Yeah, they were charging $3 for a hot dog at the concession stand. What an outrage!
$3, you can get cheaper at Del Diamond.
I know.
That is outrageous. Okay, maybe we'll get some intermittent children talk in between. But U23s has concluded. We've got some recruiting news. We've got some NCAA preview stuff. Wrestle-offs are already happening. More will happen this week. But first, the topic of the day, U23 results. Decent amount of conversation around it. No golds for Team USA, but overall 5 medals coming home. To which you're like, if you look at this team, you're like, might have thought we'd get a little more. You would think someone like Vito, someone like David Carr, you probably expect a medal from those guys. But then we got some medals where maybe we didn't expect it. Tanner Sloan makes the finals. Tanner Sloan medals. Jacob Cardenas makes the finals. We had a couple other medals there. But all in all, what was your guys' takeaway from Team USA's performance?
I feel like I've become spoiled by Team USA performances, and so a lot of the losses that we had, especially losses from guys like Starachi, who I expected to be, in the finals or winning the tournament, David Carr, were losses that were super close. They either, like Starachi gave up points early, was coming back, just couldn't cap off the comeback. Carr lost, really, heartbreaker last second. Sloan's loss in the finals was heartbreaker, and it felt like the old days of watching international wrestling back 10-15 years ago, when you knew our guys were really good, you knew they could win, but would they? And that was not a guarantee. Whereas like recently, both senior level and at the age level, it's been much more consistent that the U.S. pulls out those wins when it's in the margins late. So it felt disappointing, but also, I mean, we're right there, and all these matches. It's just a matter of capping it off. We weren't able to do it.
In the moment, it feels disappointing. Then you zoom out, and Kozak did a little deep dive on our historical look at our U23 performance, and this was like kind of the best we've ever done, isn't it, John?
Yeah, most medals we've ever had, and I think it's interesting if you go back to 2017 because that's kind of when U23s kicked off. We were talking beforehand. Used to be university worlds, which they didn't really have any age limit for that, so kind of a weird tournament. But 5 medals, the most we've had since 2017, where we had 3. And then in that time, there has only been a few gold medalists. Richie Lewis won gold in 2017, Bo Nickel in 2019, and then Cassiope last year. So, I mean, I was just, we were talking, I was confused, like really confused watching this because we had guys that, we thought David Carr, Starachi were going to kind of clean up and look really dominant, and Vito as well. And they didn't. But then you had other guys who you didn't really expect much from do really good. And even a guy like Yaya who doesn't place, but he's like this close to beating Amir Yazdani, who was world silver last year. So it's just, I don't know, it's just really, really confusing. I think it's a good reminder of how good the world is at wrestling, and even just how impressive we've been at the senior level is like really, we've been spoiled.
Yeah. So we've seen the Starachi Kazakhstan semi, right? And there was a time where Starachi gives up a go behind, and his opponent is working for a leg lace. Now, watching it, you're like, this is a lot of time on top for this turn. I don't think you guys realize how much. So I'm going to let you guys guess how much time did Jurgic get on top before he actually got the turn? From the takedown, 2 goes up, knee hits, to the actual lace. How much time?
I'm going to say like 22 seconds.
22?
That would be crazy long.
That would be crazy long.
I feel like it's maybe longer, but I think a long period of time would be like 18 seconds.
That would be long also. It was 27 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah.
From takedown before the initial turn.
It's almost a quarter, what is that? Almost, what is that? 1/6 of the
period? 1/12 of the whole match.
1/12 of the whole freaking match.
It's an audacious amount of time to get on top. I don't care if you have the lace locked. Like at some point, you need to get the turn. 27 seconds is totally insane. So at 2:49 on the match clock, the takedown comes, and it's not till 2:22 for the actual turn. He fought it that long. Way too long. I don't know what to say there. And then really that was the defining position for that match, He kind of storms. He comes back, but can't complete it. But that definitely was a moment that stuck out. Another thing that stuck out, I don't know if I sometimes can't remember when we've had the show versus what we've talked about, but Amit Allure completes the trifecta, which was, it's incredible, but also like the order of that things happen makes it a little less climactic because it was such a foregone conclusion that she would win, and she did. And her doing that, and something that obviously never been done. Team USA, probably unlikely to be replicated. But what do we think about her long-term prospects? And she's between the Olympic weights. Kozak and I were discussing this before the show. But does she go up? Does she go down? What's next for Amit Allure?
Well, I don't believe Amit Allure has lost a match since summer of 2019.
Okay.
So that's over 3 years. She's not
Do you know
even.
who that loss was to?
That was in the semifinals at the U17 World Championships when she was 15.
Okay.
She is now 18. So, for a large percentage of her life, she has not lost. Like she was talking to Bader on the Bader show about like that 2019 World Championships. She's talking about learning from that loss. She must have a good memory because 15.
1/6 of her life.
Like that's insane.
We're doing a lot of fractions today.
So, she is. I think her long-term future is really good. The most obvious question is 68 kilos or 76 kilos.
Yes.
And also related to that question is like, what's the depth chart look like at both of those weights. If she's 68, obviously Tamira's in the way. If she is 76, could be Kylie Welker in the way, could be Kennedy Blades in the way, and is Adeline coming back? We don't know. We don't know if any of those women are going. We don't know if Adeline's coming back, and we don't know if the others are going to go 68 or 76. They all kind of have to make that choice.
Yep.
So I think probably for the foreseeable future, her biggest competition is going to be in the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see Amit versus Kennedy really bad. I think that's an incredible match. Don't know when or where we'll get it, but it would be a good one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you look at her weight class, who she could wrestle. Like Amit versus Kennedy is really interesting. Amit versus Tamira, Amit versus Adeline. Like you'd like to see her wrestle all of those. And it's funny because she has all this success, and she's only 18. And the story is, what weight does she go for the Olympics? Like we're already kind of looking past like everything else that she's not looking past everything else she's accomplished, but that's really the story that's the most interesting is what's she going to decide to do in her future, because we feel like she could win Olympic gold right now.
Yes. So that was some U23s nuggets. Anything else stick out? I thought Vito. I'm kind of wondering how many more times this performance makes me think for sure he goes 33. I think the cut is just a thing. He's always been big. He didn't look his best, I felt, at this tournament in his loss. So a match he definitely could have won, but didn't go his way. I think we see him at 33 and remain there for this season.
Yeah, it was tough. Like he made some tactical decisions early that didn't help him, but then like second half of the match, he just looked, he's even getting back to center and things like that. It looked really like he was really hurting.
For sure. Cassiope was a champ last year, bronze this year. The Georgian he faced was a monster. This guy was big dude, pretty freaking athletic as well. He was getting the legs really consistently. He had 2 huge 4s where he got to a standing single, and I don't think maybe outside of Gable, Cassiope's really experienced this, but the guy is able to step in because of his height and basically back trip for 4 on 2 occasions, which is really impressive. And then that guy gets worked by Masumi, so U23s was really, really tough at 125.
I'm in this group chat with some Iranian wrestling fans.
Flex.
And that's where I get a lot of my inside info. But anyways, I had said, like, man, I expected more from Cassiope there. And one of the guys said, to be fair to Cassiope, Georgia sent Goliath himself. And then,
oh, wow.
and then later they said Masumi defeated Goliath. It was just
he was a beast for sure.
Yeah.
I was impressed with him.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
I was super impressed with Cardenas.
Yeah,
he took out Maserati, who was a bronze medalist, right, at Senior Worlds.
Yeah.
Yep. This year, so that was great. Really good look for him. I mean, the guy that where is he on our depth chart at 92 kilos? Assuming Jaden Cox is still at the weight, which probably is a bad assumption, but he's not a guy that you would pick to be in Final X with people like Nate Jackson in the way.
Yeah.
But he's beating world medalists. I think that's really good for the depth chart and makes me really curious to see him in his NCAA career.
Yeah, that's what makes me excited about like how much year-over-year improvement do we see from Cardenas. He's obviously in a great training environment with Cornell, and he's got Gwiz there as a upperweight coach. Kind of a mixed bag for him last year with the results. Kozak and I were looking over that this morning too as we were preparing for the show, but you can see some pretty quick improvement with some of these guys. And he's a big, strong athlete. He's got some pretty dynamic attacks. So looking forward to watching him next year, or this year, I guess we could say, for the Big Red. Anything else U23-wise that stuck out? I thought Cole Matthews did a nice job. Carr's loss was, if he's finishing his single a little more consistently, I think he can win. He wins that match. Anything else stick out for you guys?
No, nothing too crazy.
Okay. All right. Other news, big news from Big Jim. He's going to be a Hokie. And you got to be feeling great about that. If you are a Hokie fan, football or wrestling, he says both. Right now it's both.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it materializes. Sometimes that they think about both and then they do one or the other. I don't know a ton about his prospect as a Division I football player. Obviously, I feel great about his prospects as a wrestler. He loves both, he said. You talked to him a little bit. I know you got some quotes in here, but I'm sure there's more to the conversation. You want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, to me, the thing that really stood out is that some of these guys that are thinking about, I mean, wrestling in Division I in general, you get a sense that they don't really understand like the enormity of the task of just playing any sport in college, like just wrestling or football or whatever. You get the sense that Jim knows that what he's trying to do is a very, very difficult thing to do, and that, I think, to me, that awareness is important.
Good sign.
Yeah, good sign for sure. And he's just like, man, I don't want to have any regrets. I think I can do it. He's like, and he mentioned the academic piece too. Like, that's all a lot, but he thinks he can do it.
Yeah.
He feels like cut out for it. I also think, he's a guy that we've invited who's number one the last 2 years, and it hasn't worked out because of football. And I think him drawing the lines between when it's time to be all in football and all in wrestling is also a good sign. So I think if anybody can do it, Jim is the kind of guy that will approach it the right way and will put himself in a position to have success in both. Can he? That remains to be seen. But I trust his attempt at it more than I would, I think, very many people.
Yeah, it's another interesting dynamic is Katka, who has 4 years left. He was a huge recruit for Tech a couple of years back. He wrestled the freebie COVID year, and then redshirted last year with the Stanford guy, Nathan
Traxler.
Thank you. So now Kako will be the guy. Presumably, their conflict wouldn't be for 2 years or so, because you got this season for Kaka, and next year you could redshirt Mullen, and this is all if he decides to wrestle in college. But it sounds like the kind of united Hokie front in recruiting him, like having the football coaches bought in and the wrestling coaches bought in, like kind of attacking him that way, seemed like that had an impact as well.
Yes, like he said, man, both the coaches like were aggressive in the recruiting. They both wanted him, and they've talked to one another too. Like they not just the head coaches, but the defensive line coach was involved in those conversations as well. It sounds like maybe even the AD like was some way like small part of the conversation. So getting all that feedback, that coordinated effort, that was impressive. And I also, like Jim did say too, he liked all of his visits. He enjoyed being on every campus, and somebody that I think really appreciated that process and built genuine relationships with all the programs. But it was that concerted effort from the combined football and wrestling staffs that was super helpful.
What was your what were the other schools in the mix there?
Well, I think the part of the situation is like there were football schools and there were wrestling schools that were like somewhat separate. So I think that's partly why there's a difference, because if you go back and think about some of the visits he's taken, it's to some non-wrestling schools. Like I remember seeing like posts from like Cincinnati, stuff like that. And then wrestling wise, I think Michigan was definitely in the mix. I know that when some guys committed to Cornell that he was close with, there was a chance that I think they were hoping they were in the mix. So I just think getting the two sports to work together was really a differentiator, and I don't think that was happening at a ton of other places.
Indeed. I see Israel Thomas in the chat. Shout out to Israel and his son Yaya. Yaya had a solid performance. Lost to little Yazdani.
Yeah, this close.
Very close. That's pretty impressive because that guy is a beast.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot this. There's other stuff with U23s. We had all these defectors. We had all these visa issues.
Sri Lanka.
Two Sri Lankans said we will be Spanish now. They're done. They just no-showed to the mat. It's like it's weird. It's funny. So you look at we have our like if a match doesn't go up or if there's a little issue. We have a little slack, and we figure out and we get the matches up. And Spay's in there, and they're talking back and forth. And one of Cassiopei's matches didn't auto-archive because the match order got changed because of this Sri Lankan defection. So it's like funny how like this insane happening like impacts this little thing on our site. And it's like, oh yeah, like that's you probably didn't predict that this would be something that impacts the technology.
Yeah.
Will there be an asterisk next to this U23 World Championships because Sri Lanka did not compete?
And that's the real downside to this tournament is there's that what if factor. What happens if these guys take the mat and don't defect?
I mean, we'll never know.
We'll never know now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Also the Indian who won at 57, I guess he's got a really cool story. I was looking at it a little bit yesterday, but he was orphaned at like 11. So and that's how he got into wrestling, and has been wrestling ever since he was orphaned, and now he's a world champion. So he's got a really interesting
that's awesome
story. And he was the only men's freestyle wrestler who was allowed to compete because of the visa stuff.
Yeah, there was weird visa stuff leading up to this. A lot of the athletes could not get into Spain for whatever reason. And I don't know if they were worried about defection or whatever, but it was the Sri Lankans you should have been worried about.
I mean, yeah. So that makes India's men's freestyle team undefeated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't lose a match.
Best performance of the U23s, debatably. Keith Gothard mentioned how insane the workload is to be a Division I football and wrestler. That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very insane proposition. On top of the workload, it's like kind of like 3 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be a challenge, but we'll see. It's a couple years before they get down to that. They have to make that decision. But good for Big Jim, and that gives Virginia Tech a filthy. It was already a great recruiting class, and now I think that's 5 total big boarders for this class. Where do you think that's going to ultimately stack up?
Definitely looks like a top 10 class. I think, especially with Big Jim being the kind of the crown jewel in that class, being the biggest recruit, the top recruit in that class. So it's a really good class. Got to be maybe top 5 with that many recruits. So I don't know necessarily like where those guys will fit in the lineup in the immediate future. I think Hunter Mason is going to be good, but they're relatively good, I think, at some of those weights. So I don't know. I think definitely a very good class.
Do we have a 23 recruiting?
We already have rankings going for those. Hold on, I'll pull them.
I want to check those out. See where they stack up.
Mm-hmm.
Top 10. That feels like
they should be higher.
Yeah, it should be higher than that. With the because it didn't have a top 10 guy until Jim, and now they've got that to go on Mac Church. And Sonny Sasso is interesting. That was I know they're extremely excited about getting him.
Yeah. So JD had them ranked 8th before Big Jim committed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
let's look at some of these.
Who's above them? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So above Virginia Tech, NC State with 6 recruits, 4 in the top 100.
No, ahead of them.
So they'll probably move up there. Ohio State right now is 6th. Rocco Welsh, Vinny Kilkiri, the 2 big ones.
Ahead of them.
Oklahoma State is 5th. They have Cale Hughes, Braden Thompson, Jersey Robb. I think they probably move ahead of them.
Yep.
Cornell right now, this is interesting. Cornell right now is 4th. Meyer Shapiro, who
monster,
a college coach from another team, told me at Super 32 that guy will be an All-American every year that he competes.
Yeah,
for Cornell.
I agree with that.
Michael Delegata, who
I like him a lot.
He's on Big Jim's high school team. Simon Ruiz, Tyler Ferrara. I actually think they move ahead of them.
I do too.
I think they move ahead of them. Penn State, Braden Davis, Josh Barr, Tyler Kasich. That's a good class. But
it's in this strata.
Yeah, they might be. Virginia Tech might be 3rd. All right, let's look at Michigan. Michigan's got 5 big boarders as well. Caden Horwath, Hayden Walters, Sergio Lemley, Bo Mantanona, Dylan Gilcher.
Ooh, that's where it gets tough.
Yeah,
I think they're 3rd.
They're in that 2, 3, 4 range between around Michigan, Penn State. Sergio Lemley and Bo Mantanona both have, and Dylan Gilcher, really all 3 of them have surged. It turns out, look at that, Caden Harwath, Hayden Walters, Sergio Lemley, Bo Mantanona, Dylan Gelcher. All 5 of those guys Super 32 champs in their past.
That's solid. That's solid.
Very good.
And then we may as well finish.
Iowa's number 1. They've got Nate Jezeroga, Gabe Arnold, Ben Keeter, Ryder Block. And Iowa...
That's close with Michigan.
Iowa and Virginia Tech are going to be, people will not stop asking that question of, all right, Jim and Keeter, are they actually, going to compete? Will we actually see it? Despite the fact that they have every intention to make it work, the coaches have every intention to make it work. It's still
the reality.
Sometimes doesn't. Keontae Hamilton, he's playing football now, right?
Yeah.
Even though that was the expectation was he's going to do both. So you don't know for sure, and that may. I don't know how much JD will factor that into his decisions, but.
Well, yeah. Keeter seems like someone who legitimately could have a huge impact for Iowa. It could be on the football scene, right? He seems like a bona fide tight end. I think that's his best position, right? I'm sure he plays both, but man, if that's a thing and you have potential NFL opportunities, I don't know if people see that with Jim at this point. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, but it feels like that's maybe a possibility for Ben.
Dude, I do not follow Iowa high school football, but I'll just see these social media posts. It's week 1, Keeter with 20 tackles, 18 tackles, something. Then a couple weeks ago, I saw he scored 6 touchdowns in one game.
Iowa football is not a joke.
No, he's in big school.
Big school, yeah.
So I'm looking at their recruiting profiles for football.
Yeah,
they're both 3 stars.
Okay.
But Keeter's a little bit higher rated. He's on 3 has him ranked 417 nationally.
Oh, okay.
And Jimmy Mullen
top 420
is 1800.
That's for you, Keith.
Yeah, and linebacker it looks like is his position.
Oh, really?
So it looks like, I don't know though. It's just one site.
I'd use him at tight end.
Yeah.
Let's get some TDs, boys.
Yeah. Why not both sides of the ball? 2 sports?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be so funny.
Yeah. Number 4. Yeah. So he's the number 41 ranked linebacker in the country.
Wow.
Jeff Baxter apparently lives in Florida. Don't think he'd do that good down here in Florida. He's good though. All right, chill out.
Or Texas.
Florida or Texas for that matter. I think he would actually, Jeff. Greatness transcends.
I think he might be able to start in the Hutto Hippos.
Yeah. He'd start for the Hippos. He'd start for the Pflugerville Panthers, maybe?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I think they're the Panthers.
There's a school called the Hawks in Pflugerville.
Okay. The Hawks are
over there by
Pflugerville,
Typhoon, Texas.
High School. Oh, okay. That's Hendrickson, I think.
Okay.
I don't know what Pflugerville is. I think they are the Panthers. No one cares. All right, moving on.
No one cares.
No one cares. Who cares?
Yeah, so, but back to the original point about recruiting,
Jimothy.
right? I mean, that's, huge get for Virginia Tech. Man, I like.
They recruit well every year.
I like that class.
Every single year.
I like that class. Hunter Mason, Mac Church, Sonny Sasso, Logan Frazier. It's fun.
Yeah. Okay, let's. So that's the big gym news. Next topic. We want to talk about some Wrestle-off results. We have a Wrestle-off tracker, article, and a person. Mm-hmm. The person is John. Mm-hmm. He's right there. He's the Wrestle-off tracker.
Yep.
Campbell just got it going early.
Yeah.
They cannot wait to wrestle off.
Before the official first day of practice.
Before the first day of practice, we are wrestling off, guys.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I think North Carolina had theirs on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
A couple notable results. Want to chat about those?
Let's chat. Yeah. Joey Melendez beat Jamie Hernandez at 133.
Yeah, that's big.
By pinfall. So yeah, that's notable. And you feel like, so I think they're going to be at Southeast Open early. So you feel like that's one of those weights where you kind of watch it throughout the season, see how it unfolds. But yeah, that was interesting. And then Iowa State, they have just a ton of wrestle-offs. So if you go to their website, and the link is in the tracker, they have their prelim brackets where it was between 4 and 6 guys, and they wrestle into the winners bracket to wrestle off the guy that's kind of sitting there. And so I think the biggest like interesting result was at 174. David, you were kind of talking about this beforehand, where Manny Rojas lost a close one to MJ. How do you pronounce his last name?
Guyton.
Yeah, so 3-2. And you were saying, what did Guyton compete at last year? 160?
He beat Levi Haynes in the Super 32 finals at 160. And I mean, as I'm thinking about it, it's like, well, if you can't go 65 because of David Carr, you have a choice. Can you make 157? If not, then try your hand at 74. It makes me wonder if they're considering him for the lineup this year, or Rojas too. I mean, either one of them. They're both true freshmen, both big time recruits. I didn't expect when they both were committed there for them to overlap because Rojas wrestled I think what's the Michigan way? It's like they're a little different. 171.
171.
They do whatever they want.
171. He wrestled 171 this year. Guyton was 160. So I thought those are two different weight classes of people, but apparently not for now.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think
they have Broderson too.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a lot of.
So they have some interesting, like the winners bracket wrestle-offs. At 41, you got Swiderski sitting there, and then I think at 33, Zach Redding's there. I think he dropped down from 41 last year. But then Pinero Johnson will be an interesting one to watch too at 149. So their actual wrestle-off is, I think, the 28th. So a couple days here. But yeah, we're tracking them all, and it'd be nice if any college coaches are listening to actually publish your results. That'd be really cool.
We like it when you do that.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier, and that way I don't have to hunt you down.
Ohio State's are this week. I know. I think they have a preliminary day and then the real day. I don't know if we'll have the 133 showdown. We were thinking. I don't know if they're planning to wrestle or not, but will be exciting. What are the big wrestle-offs?
There'll be Ohio State's as exciting as any of them, really. I see NC State is also the 28th. That is a team with just perpetual depth, and so
much.
I mean, their wrestle-offs are literally NCAA qualifier level matches many times. So I think that'll be really fascinating to see. Curious for those.
Pittsburgh.
But we talked about North Carolina for a minute. It's interesting to see Jack Wagner beating Spencer Moore. But the Wagner transfer from UNI. So maybe we'll see him in the lineup this year. Spencer Moore, he may need a red shirt anyway. The guy's
Oklahoma.
He was 17. I'm pretty sure that first year.
Oklahoma has a couple interesting roster battles. I know there's Wyatt Henson is in there at 133 with Madrigal, or if he goes up to 41, Moshe Schwartz. And then 149, you still have McDougald and is it Mitch Moore? I believe.
Yes, Mitch.
Yeah, those two. So I think that's that's one team that you can kind of watch, and even at 197 for Oklahoma with Tate Piccolo, kind of to see how he's gonna do. I don't know. They're kind of an interesting team to me.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch Piccolo this year. Fun guy to watch. Greg Warren in the chat.
All right.
He says Pflugerville Freedom Fighters, all with the PA at the beginning. So Greg is very aware of Pflugerville if he knows how obsessed the people are with putting PFs in front of F words.
Yeah.
But not that F word. I haven't seen that one.
Actually,
used.
I bet someone's
done it.
It's on a bridge somewhere.
That's on a bridge. That's on a sign.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
I bet you the high school.
Maybe the high school bathroom's got that carved in there.
I bet there's a rogue group of students that shows up to the cheering section, that word, and then the other team's mascot.
Yeah, I could see that. I can see that. Sure.
I would hope that they would not do that to the hippos.
What? It's not a bad word. It's not a bad
What?
word.
What? There's a P in front of it.
It's a 5-letter word. Well, you never heard of the 5-letter words getting bad rap?
Those are fine. They're totally fine. Okay. All right, so that's talking wrestle-offs. The season is upon us. Bray and I broke down the first 11 days of the season on Thursday. That was a lot more than I realized it would be, but it ended up being great. Where do you want to go next, boys? Anything on your hearts and minds, because we've been threatening to do these team countdowns, but I kind of like just threatening and never doing it. But kind of think, it's 8:51, so we may have to finally utilize this segment.
Let's do it.
JD's been talking. JD should be on his way back. He better be. He better not defect.
He's staying around.
What if he defects?
He is defecting.
Oh.
I think he's visiting a couple countries while he's in the other continent. So I don't know when he's going to be
Who
back.
manages this guy?
This is just
what is going on?
This is a preemptive strike from JD because listen, the last 2 times he's left the country, he didn't get back in time anyway. So
he better not be planning on a honeymoon.
He said, let's just
enjoy. JD, this is your honeymoon. I hope Colleen's with you, because that's it.
I know
we have unlimited paid time off, but even that has limits.
Within the last 12 months, within the last 6 months, JD Rader has been stranded in Mexico City for a day.
Yes.
The word of our sweet prince.
Yeah.
He has been where else was he stranded? Rome. He got stuck in Rome on his way back from
that was
Bulgaria.
an intention. Yeah,
Bulgaria.
Yeah,
he just happened to get jammed up.
So
in
this
Rome.
is a preemptive strike. He's just like, you know what? Let me just take a day so that because it's gonna happen one way or the other. So
but now
it's on purpose.
What if he stacks another delay on there? Because we're not fact checking these delays.
Yeah,
we
that's a
don't
good
really
point.
know.
No, he did tell me he was planning on. He said he could get like a cheap flight somewhere. I don't know if he's going to
Sri Lanka, I think.
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. He's doing a reverse defection.
Yeah.
The Sri Lankan government demands someone in return for the athletes they provided. So, honestly, there's a chance that JD could beat the Sri Lankan wrestlers.
Yeah. He probably could.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, he's kind of a beast. So maybe he'll come back. Spay may defect to a Delta lounge, which would be the first person to do that. But if anyone would defect to an airline lounge, it would be Spay.
Yeah. I think Spay's thinking about getting a part-time job at the Austin Bergstrom International Airport just so he can go in the lounge after work.
Yeah, he's just gonna work at the taco deli a couple hours a week and then just chill in the lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might do that. Cannot rule that out. Okay, so the boys are on their way back from U23s, and with that, why don't we start talking about these seasons? So the idea was, this was JD's idea, which is why it was in my head to mention him. Talk about do a little countdown for the team. Start at the 20 and work our way down. And we did not do UNC on Thursday, correct?
We did not.
We did not. So this segment has not officially started until right now. So we're starting with number 20. This is based off our current tournament rankings. North Carolina is ranked 20th for now. And so we'll start looking at their lineup here. So pretty solid. And we already mentioned their wrestle-off results, which we had 125. We got Jack Wagner with more redshirting, and that seems to be all the more likely after Wagner beats him. Their most competitive weight seems to be 33 with Melendez and Hernandez. And I would have said, and I think even Coach Scott in his interview with Kyle Kleeman said that Hernandez looks like probably the front runner here, but now he gets pinned. So who knows what that means for that dynamic. I'm sure they'll be battling throughout the season. And then this is the real meat of their lineup, 41 through 57. Lachlan McNeil, Zach Sherman, Austin O'Connor, all three of them expected to start. We do not have a full sense for UNC on O'Connor's availability early on, other than we just expect it to be limited, right?
Yes, yeah. Expect them to pick his spots a little bit, but I think come postseason, I mean, they expect him to be all the way 100%.
Yes.
And if that's true, I think 20, they've got a good chance of moving higher than that.
He's currently ranked 8th, so he's earning 8th place points. And
yeah,
everyone, you look at 157, and if you just tell me going into NCAAs, it's 100% Austin O'Connor, there's a chance that's my pick. At this point, I and maybe he's the rightful selection for that. But there's gonna be so many freaking dudes that can contend at that weight. But I think a lot of him. I think I've made that point before.
Yeah, last year they had 3 All-Americans. They had Clark make the finals, and then 2 8th placers in O'Connor and Lout got 32 points. They finished 18th. So you feel like they could have a tournament like that again, where they could be kind of in that obviously they're ranked 20th. But if like everything hits, they could jump up even to pushing top 10. If O'Connor does make the finals or win, and they get really good production out of Lachlan McNeil, I mean 141 is really wide open this year. Clay Lau, Gavin Kane, Max Shaw. I mean Zach Sherman, past All-American. So it's like you feel like they could get 3, 4, 5 All-Americans if they really all hit at once.
O'Connor having a torn ACL, losing in round 1, and then wrestling back is really insane. Like that's not. You would think it'd be something where if you said he placed and he loses to Dejon Cassidy, you'd be like, okay, so you wouldn't expect him to be able to wrestle back, but he freaking did. He beat Model, Jacob Wright, Hunter Richard, and you say okay, but then he beat Humphreys in the round of 12.
Yeah.
And then defaulted out. Pretty impressive.
If you look at on the rankings, the current team, like points that they're earning are included. So North Carolina currently projected to score 19 points before bonus at NCAAs, and Kozak mentioned even top 10 seems within their own possibility. Northwestern is 10th, and they're projected to score 41 points. So could this North Carolina team score 41? I think that is probably about the ceiling.
That's high.
That's probably about the ceiling, but they could. I mean, but yeah, if O'Connor won it,
that's like 24-ish probably points.
Right there.
22 to 24 points.
Yeah, I mean, those points alone, would move him up a couple spots, and then
if he wins and they get 2 other All-Americans, that's 40.
But you need someone to have a Keyshawn Clark type thing, and those things don't happen often.
Right.
You need Sherman to really come out over. You need Lachlan McNeil to really be the truth.
And for Sherman, that's going to be tough. No comment on Sherman, but it's like 11. He's one of 11 returning All-Americans at 149 pounds, and there are other new guys in there too that are going to be good. So just 149.
Like Yanni.
Yanni's in there. 149 is going to be a tough weight to get on the podium. There are a lot of good guys in there.
Yes, it will be tough. But they have Lau. Lau kind of gets forgotten in here. So
yeah,
65. I have no idea what they're gonna do. Fea, is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
Looks like he won the Wrestle-off, but that was not one of the names I had listed here. Mazzara, Estrada, Santiago. I don't know.
Well, Santiago was wrestling in
U23s.
Yeah.
He wrestled Carr, right?
Yep.
Then you got Lout, Kane, Shaw, Whitman, which is a really solid. This is a really good dual team, top to bottom. They've got guys. Oh, and I have a little questionnaire for these teams after we've kind of finished sort of previewing. So it's max upside, how many AAs, higher, lower than current ranking, better dual or tournament team. So max upside, I would say, is probably in that top 10 range. You could say Austin wins. Lout really could be like a top 3 or 4 guy.
Yeah.
Realistically. That puts you at like 40 or 32, 34-ish points. And then it's finding the next 10 points, I think, is going to be tough.
Yeah.
You need Sherman to really ball out. You need Lachlan McNeil. So I would say 10th would be the max upside.
Yeah. That sounds exactly right to me.
How many AAs? I'll say. So I'd say if there's an over-under, I would say 2.5.
Yeah.
I'd probably take the under at 2.
I would feel good about 2. I feel good. I mean, Lau right now is sitting at number 5, and
who's ahead of him?
Dustin Plott feels beatable. Labriola, dude is super good. Makai Lewis, Carter Starachi. That top 3, Starachi, Lewis, Labriola, those guys all seem super solid. But like Plott, and then after him, Ethan Smith, Demetrius Romero, Phil Canigliaro. I think he's on the podium, and I think it's a matter of whether it's 4th or 7th. So I think he's on the podium. I think 2 is pretty secure. I'm very curious about Lachlan McNeil, 41.
Yeah.
I think he's probably their biggest mystery, and could have a really high potential there.
Yeah, and that's someone. Let's find UNC wrestling schedule. When will we learn things about Lachlan? Because they go to Southeast.
They go to Southeast. Milner could be at Southeast. Or no, that's 49. Who's at 41? I just did that.
Tech will have guys there. They've got Girardi and Crook.
Yeah.
They wrestle. So they wrestle Michigan, but 41 for Michigan.
That's strong.
It's going to be a Matin, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a Matin.
Yep.
If there's a weight under like 149, you're not sure who's going to start for Michigan, it's going to be a Matin.
Trust
And
your
they're going
gut.
to do pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The rest of Ohio State, 41, so that'd be like D'Amelio.
Yep. D'Amelio's 9th. That's a good test.
Good test. Collegiate duels. I don't know who their. I think their
I don't know who
matchups
they're
are known, but I don't know.
wrestling yet.
I don't remember. F&M. We
It
may
might
not.
be a minute.
It may be kind of hard to know.
Yeah, 'cause-
When he gets into that ACC schedule, he'll have Girardi, Cedeno are both ranked for Virginia Tech and Virginia, respectively, and then also Ryan Jack will be a good test,
yeah.
and obviously Cole Matthews.
Yeah. So we'll have to see who goes to the Southeast.
Southeast is Casimir from Columbia. He's the highest ranked
He's
guy.
good.
He's tough, but then there's really not. We mentioned Girardi, Cedeno, maybe Jordan Titus as well, but not at 140. At Southeast, 141 isn't the craziest bracket.
Okay, well, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Lachlan. Interesting prospect because we still don't really know where he's going to fit. Okay, that's their max upside. Up at AAs, I'm going to say 2. Higher or lower than current ranking? I will say higher.
Yeah.
I think they will do better than 20th.
I
Yeah.
do too.
Better duel or tournament? I say duel. Well, that's interesting.
I got him ranked 17th right now in our dual rankings.
Anytime you see this kind of depth, or not depth, just like top to bottom, they got dudes. That's pretty good. And they have enough, they have some guys that could be getting bonus with Austin. I think they're a better dual team. I'm just going to stick with it.
Yeah.
I think if you do like a dual tournament 100 times, you do an NCAA tournament 100 times, I think they'll finish in the top 10 more as a dual team than a tournament team.
When you put it that
I
way,
ran it through the simulator.
When you simulate it like that, I think I agree with you. Just because you feel like how many times are they going to get more than 4 All-Americans,
Yeah.
right? But with the depth in their dual team, they feel like they could beat a lot of good teams like around that Wisconsin, Iowa State, Northwestern area where I feel like they could go up higher in a dual tournament.
Yes.
This is, to me, it's like a very similar dual team and tournament team. Like for a team like North Carolina who is looking for that spot in the top 10, who's has those type of goals and aspirations, they have what you need in a tournament team. They have a contender. They have other All-American contenders. So they have those elements of a tournament team. But then when you look at a dual team, they have that too, right? They have like that top to bottom. So it's hard for me to pick one or the other because they're similar in both aspects. It's not.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they're probably a better dual team, but I think it's really close.
Yep. Okay. Well, someone's thanking you for the excellent preview piece on the Southeast Open, John Kozak.
You're welcome.
He called you JK.
Okay.
Are you getting
People have called me that in the past.
really? But now with the whole Harry Potter thing, it's like you want JK Rowling to have her, kind of her space
Yeah, that's her space.
because you're kind of dueling authors at that point, and it's like, what's been read more, your Southeast Open preview or The Prisoner of Azkaban?
I had a friend call me JK47 one time.
Oh, that's
and
kind of.
I did not like it.
You didn't?
No. He
you-
continues to call me that. I
you
just don't acknowledge it.
You don't acknowledge it.
No.
But you've just
Why?
acknowledged
'Cause
it
you don't-
publicly on.
Yeah,
man.
this was
Man,
this.
I was gonna.
This was not a good way to not acknowledge it by mentioning it on a national broadcast.
Wow.
International broadcast, actually.
Internet worldwide. Worldwide.
This is like the Tiger King show. It's on the internet worldwide. It's on TV worldwide.
Yeah. I guess I should say when he calls me that,
You don't acknowledge
I don't
it.
acknowledge it.
Why you don't like the firearms?
Yeah, I don't want to
Something
be.
against
I don't want to be associated with that.
You don't want to be
kind of
associated with the Second Amendment.
That kind of firearm.
Mm-mm.
What kind of firearm you like?
Where are you packing right now? Everyone on the FloWrestling team always has a gun on them. It's one of the neat
This
things.
is Texas after all.
This is Texas. Okay. Speaking of Texas, let's talk about Stanford. They've got a team. They're ranked 19th right now. I'll run through their lineup quickly. Stop me if I'm wrong. 125 Provo, 33 Jackson Desario, 41 Jason Miranda, 49 Jaden Abbas, 57 Charlie Darcott, maybe Hunter Garvin, I don't know. 65 Shane Griffith, Tyler Eichens at 74, Nick Addison, Nick Stemmet, the GOAT, and then Peter Ming, 285. This team doesn't seem as good as North Carolina to me, but they have Shane Griffith,
Yeah.
which I think helps a lot.
One big question I have is that 57 range. Is Daniel Cardenas in the mix at all? I think he may be more of a 49, but curious what they're going to do at 57. That's the biggest question. I think Garvin, from what I've heard, it sounds like he has the potential to even be a 65 moving forward. Like eventually, obviously they're not going to give him the spot over Shane Griffith, right? So, but I think we're going to know a little more about them after the App State. I can't remember if it was an open or invite, but I believe they're going to send a lot of their freshmen to that event, and we'll get a look at them and see how college ready they look. But to me, this feels like not as solid a dual team as North Carolina, but a sort of similar tournament team. Shane Griffith is also, like O'Connor, an NCAA champ in the past, definitely a title contender. Abbas, an All-American in the past. But then it's like, who's the next best guy? It's probably, I don't know, Ishins. That 1 and 2 feel pretty similar to North Carolina, but then after that, I don't know that they keep pace.
Yeah, I want to look at Abbas's year. I remember so much energy and hype after he destroyed G and then gave Yanni a real tough match that a lot of people were talking about. No, it was in the duel.
Oh, that's right. 3-1.
And then
he didn't have a...
He did good at CKLV. He only lost to Yaya.
Yaya and...
he beat Crooks. He beat Mitch Moore and Blockus.
He lost to Lovett, too, at CKLV.
That happens. Lost to Lovett. An injury default against Lane Stigel. Doesn't count. Kyle Parko lost, dominated. He got majored. He get pinned by Legend Lamer. He got pinned by Josh Brown. He got pinned by Corey Crooks.
Yeah, he had a rough end of the year.
These are in a row. At Pac-12.
And then he got
at
pinned
Pac-12,
by...
he got pinned. Oh, no, he won. He pinned Josh Brown. Just kidding.
And then he got pinned by G at NCAAs.
Who he previously beat 15-6.
So you wonder, like...
So I don't know what's up with this guy.
Injury or something?
He's all over the place. He did beat Josh Edmond.
Beat him up, too.
9-3. So I don't know what to make of Jaden Abbas. I believe in his talent, but last year I'm not really sure. I don't know how you take what I'm sure there's like, if you know Jaden or if you're on the team, you're like, oh, you know everything that was going on in these matches, but all we have are the results. That's all we know. So you look at these results and it's sort of tough to make a real conclusion other than it could go either way, which is no conclusion at all.
Yeah.
So this team, let's run them through this questionnaire. What's max upside? How well could this team? I don't know if top 10 is possible.
I don't think so.
Because even if Griffith wins, which obviously could happen.
Yeah.
Who has a better chance of winning? Shane Griffith or Austin O'Connor?
O'Connor.
Okay. No hesitation.
No. I mean, that weight, the 157 is just by nature way more wide open. 165
so deep,
is so deep. Like 165, you have a lot of guys who could win, but it's hard to pick. One, it's hard to pick against O'Toole right now.
Yeah.
How good he looks. But two, it's hard to pick any one single guy to come through that meat grinder, where 57, it just feels easier to see O'Connor come through. It feels easier to see Brayton Lee come through. It just seems like, I don't know, more likely, more possible. But I know those are, I don't know, kind of contradictory statements.
If you gave me a right now, and maybe this is a different question, but if you said right now, gun to your head, who places higher, O'Connor or Griffith? I think I'd probably go Griffith.
Yeah.
I just feel more confident that he'll be in the top 2 or 3 just because he's just that guy at NCAA. It's like what he did with Wick, even though that was totally bizarre. But I think he probably believes he can beat Keegan O'Toole. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. David Carr's obviously could be a test, but I would be stunned to see him outside the top 3. Whereas with 57,
yeah, you could see him a lot of places.
Yeah, a lot of different places.
I still feel like O'Connor. I like him better to win than Griffith with
and yet I agree with that also. It's kind of tough. We're only comparing these two because their teams are back to back. All that to say, I see that maybe 15th if like
Yeah.
Shane wins or gets second with some bonus, and maybe Avis gets on there at 8th or something. But as we mentioned, 149's really deep.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that.
And I don't see a lot of like. I don't see like a Zach Sherman type or a Lachlan McNeil or. Yeah, I feel like UNC is just a better team.
I think so too. I think their one question mark is 57. If Cardenas or Garvin are able to go in there and be effective, and you know, you can't predict that right now. We haven't seen anything, so can't predict it. But that's the one sort of remaining question that could give them a higher potential ceiling. But yeah, I think 15th is about the max right now. Even that, like 15th, Princeton's 15th, they're projected to get 31.5 before bonus. Like where are those all? You know, those are a lot of points. You need Griffith to win, and you need somebody else on the podium. Both those things are going to be hard.
Yeah,
possible, definitely possible. Have happened before, but
and you just can't count out what Rob Cole does too.
Yeah, great point.
That's the kind of prevailing thought just with any of his teams, but it's still just very early for him.
Yeah, Nico Provo, what does he look like? I mean, that'll be interesting. Is there gonna be a little Rob Cole magic there? That'd be good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so that's Stanford. Other questions. I haven't completed this questionnaire.
Better duel or tournament?
Higher. Well, no, you're skipping ahead.
Oh.
Higher or lower than current ranking at end of the year?
It feels about right.
It feels about right.
Yeah. So what are they projected to get? How many points?
I just
19.
think they lack the X factors that could
20. Sorry.
That could hit the roll of the dice guys that could maybe do it. I just don't think they have enough of those guys.
So 20 would have put them at 25th last year.
Well, this is all before bonus.
Before bonus.
Yeah.
How many points was the 20th place team last year?
28.
Then I'll say it back. I say they finished worse than 19th. So that's kind of a lot of points.
Yeah. Yeah, I say right in that 20 to 25 range.
And better duel or tournament? I'd have to say tournament.
I think so.
Mm-hmm. They're not ranked. I don't have them ranked in the top 25 for duels.
I guess we have a sort of an authoritative. But who's to say?
I ran them all.
He ran them all.
Mm-hmm.
He ran them through this. He has a simulator. So
yeah.
I don't have a simulator. I just have my brain.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 19. We've done 2 teams now. Now we're going to go to UNI. Where 25, no more Brody Teske. He's gone.
Right.
He's an Iowa Hawkeye. No more Jack Wagner. He's at UNC. So it looks like Kyle Goldhofer. I'm not familiar with his work. 33. Biscaglia looks like the guy. Kind of a mainstay. And it sounds like Land for sure going to redshirt this year. Corey Land. Cale Happel, solid. Colin Rilbuto. You know, if you listen, I'm high on Colin Rilbuto, his talent. Derek Holschlag, Austin Yant, Lance Runyon, Parker Keckeisen, John Gunderson, and Tyrell Gordon. This is an interesting one because I do this, like, if you compare it to Stanford, it seems like they just have more bullets on this team. But they don't have the big title contender, but do they with Parker? It's like, I know that the Aaron thinks like he's his toughest competition, and I know they felt that way for a while, but you know, he's gotten a lot better. He's really good.
We feel like he's not going to slip behind, what, third?
Yeah, that's the thing with Parker. There's like not a scenario where like, oh, he has a bad tournament. Like, he's just so solid, consistent. His style is a nightmare for everyone he faces. So yeah, I kind of feel like he's gonna get some high points. Now, where do the other points come from?
That's the thing.
That's the thing.
I'm trying to figure out how they have 25 projected points. Like, literally, where are they coming from?
Is it Rilbuto?
Rilbuto could be ranked kind of high. Yant and Runyon both had moments.
Rilbuto's ranked 10th.
That's like 2 points.
Not much.
Yeah.
Like 2 points everywhere.
They're not getting Teske points, are they? That'll be bad.
No.
Well, what's Yant getting? Is Yant the one that beat Whitlake? Yeah.
Let's see what Yant's looking at 165. Yant is ranked 12th. They might be getting 2 points at every weight. Like, they might be one of those teams that's, they're just getting a little bit here, a little bit there. Biscaglia is ranked 18th.
Runyon. Runyon's 12th. Oh my gosh.
Happel's 16th.
Man.
They're
scoring the hard way.
They are. And
The UNI way.
that's right. Gordon's 20th.
Tyrell's scoring some points.
Man.
Like 8 points.
This just does feel like a classic, like,
scrappy.
UNI, scrappy team.
They're
You got
going
a
to win
bunch
some
of
tough
guys
duels.
who are just going to be top 20 all year. And you feel like, that this is the kind of team you love for duels. And then you feel okay about for a tournament team because if they can punch a couple guys through, then you're bumping up.
And that's what you can't discount. Like, do they punch someone through? Who? And I don't know the name. And maybe some UNI insiders will hook it up. But like, who are they seeing coming? Like, who's going to break out for them? We know what Parker's going to do, but is it a Runyon or a Yant or a Collin? Is there someone like poised to do it? And that's something we'll find out sort of soon. What's their schedule like? There's wrestling.
Their duels are always so much fun.
They're a blast.
So I'm really glad to, looking forward to getting those guys back on the site.
So
just every match is great.
Grandview Daktronics, and then All-Star for Parker. Shout out. Harold Nichols Cyclone Open. So they're hitting the open. It's open season.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to Cliff Keen, so that'll be a great test for them.
Yeah.
And then they have the UNI Open the next week. Collegiate Duels, Soldier Salute. And then they get into their Big 12 slate. Closing the season with Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then Schwab and Bono will fight at the end.
I can see it.
That's happened. That's announced. They're going to do that finally.
That's cool. That's smart.
They're since the Real Pro Wrestling, remember that?
Oh yeah.
Now they're gonna settle the score. Honestly, who wins that match right now?
Those
They're
both
both
two guys stay in really good shape.
They're both like still ready to go.
Yeah. Bono just ran 100 miles like last year. That's not a joke either.
That's actually a point. That's a point for Schwab because I don't know if you recover from something like that.
Schwab just climbed Mount Everest on a rope.
Yeah.
He's always climbing Mount Everest on a rope.
Dang it! They're both insane people doing crazy physical challenges.
Exactly.
I feel like that match doesn't go the distance because one of them gets DQ'd for like punching.
Yeah. There could.
But then they end up hugging at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. The chat's saying Happel is gonna have.
Oh, could be Happel. Yeah.
41's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. So he was 17-10 last year. Let me find this. He went 0-2 at Big 12s, losing to Carter Young and Andrew Alirez.
Did he beat Carter Young earlier in the year? I might be just totally misremembering that.
No.
Okay.
He lost 10-6 and 10-5. He beat, Happel, let's look for his big wins last year. Alan Hart.
Okay.
That's a big win.
Yeah. Lost to Berglund 12-9.
Berglund's good. Drogan Mueller's tough.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
He beat Todd Not Small in 2021. For long-time listeners.
I'm curious about this questionnaire for this team because I think it's
Okay, so let's get to the questionnaire. What is max upside? Can this team get in the top 10?
I don't.
I have a hard time.
I don't see it.
I don't see the other points.
Yes.
I see Parker's points, and I don't see. Even if, let's say hypothetically, they punch someone else through, which would be from where they were last year. All these guys, if they get one of these other dudes on the podium, that's a tremendous accomplishment.
All right, how about this question? It's a
All
little
right.
off questionnaire question.
Mm-hmm.
How many guys will they have wrestling Friday session 2? Right, blood round, like in that mix. Not all Americans, blood round.
3
Yeah.
tops, maybe
3.
It's hard. Making the round of 12 is really hard.
So last
Like,
year,
I'm not just.
Last year, Northern Iowa, they took 20th, 28.5 points. They got Kekai's in 14.5, and then they had 1.5 points, 3, 1, 3.5, 1.
Yeah.
So exactly the same
scenario
that they have here.
Like, I think they're going to have, I bet most of their guys are going to win a match at NCAAs, at least one. I don't think they're going to have 0-2s, really. Are they going to win one? Are they going to win two? Are they going to be around a 16, around a 12? Like, that's where a lot of these guys are going to end up, I think.
So maybe they get like an accumulated 10 points from those guys. And then Parker scores 14.
We had 14.5 last year.
So maybe he gets 16.
So they're probably right around the same.
Keith Gothard. I used to smoke weed with a max upside.
Okay.
Good dude.
All right.
I can't with this guy. Don't do drugs, kids.
Is that real, Keith?
I kind of, if it wasn't Keith,
I went to college with a guaranteed.
No.
Yeah.
Guaranteed?
Yeah.
In elementary school, when we were in 5th grade, we had kindergarten buddies, and mine was named Just in Case. I'm not joking.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
His mom, just come on.
This lady I taught with in Virginia always thought, she's like, because when I worked at the psychiatric hospital for kids, you get some names in there, and so she would always bring up this guy she went to school with named Harry Tush.
Wow.
Which that's bad. That's a tough one. That was like in the, you know what? It's probably a better time to be named Harry Tush back in like the 60s and 70s when she was a child.
Yeah.
This day and age, you need to go through a legal process and get that changed.
Yeah, come on.
That's just tough. Okay. No, I don't know where we were. I'm sorry.
Questionnaire. Northern Iowa questionnaire. Tournament team, how are they going to do? Better or worse?
How many AAs? I'll say one.
Yep.
I'm saying one. Higher, lower than current ranking. This is another feels about right. But then again, punching one through outside of Parker could
move them up to 15th or something.
So you just got to like.
But then it's like if something goes weird with the seeds and he ends up on the same side as Brooks and he gets third, then it's like, I mean, now you're like, I don't know. It could be. I think if I had to go one or the other, I think it feels about right. If I had to go one or the other, probably lower.
Nick Cornacchione, I think I got that right. Had a name, went with someone named Hunter Farmer.
Okay. Would have rather
What
been
about Hunter-Gatherer? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That'd have been even better.
When Brittany used to work at this like kind of like a Make-A-Wish type thing in South Dakota, there was a kid Children's Miracle Network. That's what it was.
Wow.
There was a kid
Miraculous.
who won that or whatever. His name was Easton West.
Man,
that's a South Dakota name right there.
That is. That's South Dakota, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Questionnaire.
I think
better duel or tournament?
Duel for sure. Definitely. He said Hunter Gatherer was his Twitter handle.
That's smart.
That's great. That's what I would have done too. Thanks, Nick. Nick, I'm going to try your last name again. I want you to tell me if I'm close. Cornacchione. Tell me if I'm close. I pride myself on my pronunciations for Facebook chat. All right, so better duel or tournament. So they're definitely a better duel team, in my opinion. Okay, want to do one more?
Let's do
one more because this is a good one. NC State.
Ooh, 17.
The Wolfpack. Number 17, which like you read that, you're like, man, they're ranked 17th. They're almost always higher than that. But he's saying cornichone. I'm not gonna. You need to lean into it a little more, Nick. Okay, so the interesting thing with NC State is so in our lineup look that Mark Spezia, I think it's how it's pronounced. He has Trombley listed, but we very recently talked to Camacho, who said he's going to be back second semester.
Okay,
or that's what he's targeting. Now, will he? I don't know, but if that's the case, he'll be the starter, which will bump up NC State significantly. Even though Trombley is like, what is a great guy to have in case, right? Kai Orini at 33, Ryan Jack 41, Luke Arberg maybe at 149, Ed Scott, Donald Cates, Joey Milano, Trent Hidley, Isaac Trumbull, Tyree Houghton. Now there's a host of heavyweights there. That could be tough.
That feels better than 17. I don't know.
It does, because Trent and Isaac has great potential. Ryan Jack, I like a lot. And then if you presume Camacho's back and is Camacho-y,
Yeah.
he could place. Okay, Nick has responded. I'm sorry, NC State, you're out to hold while we get this pronunciation. That's Americanized. Italian is Cornacchione.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
I would do it. I would go with that one, Nick. But you know what? It's your life, and it's probably a little easier just to say Cornicone. So with Camacho, Trent Hidley, Trumbull, Ed Scott, this team has real potential, I think, and that's not to ignore the other guys either. Like it feels like this lineup, assuming Camacho has a lot more upside than the other weights we've mentioned.
Yeah, Trumbull's not getting much. He's all the way down at number 19 right now.
And Ed Scott, he's the guy with the win over our current number 1.
He's ranked 7th.
He's ranked 7th. I think we all have a lot of faith in what he can be.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Jack is ranked 8th. It wouldn't be crazy for him to move up a couple spots. Also, for him to not be on the podium, either way.
Yep. They have heavyweights galore. They've got Tyree Houghton, they've got Chase Horn, and they've got the other guy from Long Island. What's his name?
Ollie?
Ollie. They've got Ollie. 285. Owen Treffin.
Mm-hmm.
That's a guy too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, the Long Island guy's gone, I guess. I can't remember his name. My memory, as you guys have probably noticed,
Slipping.
It's slipping bad. It's really annoying. I used to be like Rain Man with this wrestling stuff. Now I'm forgetting names. I just remember he's a pretty tough guy. Anyway.
Yeah, they got options.
They got options is the main point, and I didn't forget that part. So this is a really good team. So let's run it through. And also, is there a chance we see Arrington at 49 for NC State?
Yeah.
They've got the 5 they can use.
Yeah, we talked about it last year. I'd be super interested to see them giving Arrington spots, giving Finn Solomon spots at 49. See how those guys look. I think there's a lot of options there. So then a guy like Milano, they are really good at developing guys and bringing them along, and so I wouldn't surprise me at all if Milano was creeping up to rankings by midway through the season.
Yes. So I see. Let's run it through the questionnaire. Max upside. Man. Okay. If I said this team got 2 in the finals, am I crazy?
Nope.
It's not crazy.
Nope.
I'm competent to stand trial.
57 and 84 could happen.
Yeah. And then Trumbull is an All-American contender.
Mm-hmm.
Legitimate.
Ryan Jack.
Solid.
Camacho. He's ranked a place right now.
I'd say this team could be.
You guys
Are we crazy?
You guys are really giving them a lot.
Throw some water on our fire.
If you say max upside, I'm just trying to think where you guys are putting them then. Is that approaching top? If you give 2 finalists, that's what, 40 points?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then how many more All-Americans did you say?
All-American
8
contenders. 8 of them.
8 others.
Ryan Jack is ranked to finish 8th right now.
Ryan Jack,
You guys
Camacho, Trumbull.
They're all are either in or out, right? There could be, everyone is.
Yeah.
Everyone is either in or out, but they're guys that they could do it. You could see it. But
So
you could also, it's not like you're guaranteeing them to place is what I'm saying.
So that gives them another 20 points if they all got on the podium.
That'd be trophy-ish.
So that's 60. That's challenging top 5. Yeah.
I'll say 8th.
Yeah.
If you're saying max upside,
Corner Cone, they could break Gable's record.
they could but this is a team that has the potential to win a trophy. Has the potential.
Whoa.
Look, they have the potential. If they had 2 in the finals and 3 more on the podium.
Yeah.
Man, is that going to get you up? 2 in the finals is ambitious.
We were talking about this in the office.
I'm just
the other
saying
day.
it's like, you know.
Who are the trophy teams this year? We were talking about this and how it's like that 4th spot is.
I'm feeling good about Penn State.
I'm pretty good about Penn State.
You kind of okay.
Iowa.
I feel good about Iowa. And then I mean,
Arizona State.
Iowa.
maybe pretty good.
Arizona State, and then
Ohio State, Michigan. Right now,
the number 4 spot is wide open.
Right now, between
Cornell.
Ohio State, Michigan, and Missouri, there's a 1.5 separating them.
Man, I feel like Missouri's tougher.
Missouri's
tougher
very
than
good.
this team.
I do too.
Doesn't sound like it.
If we're talking max upside, like within the realm of
We're
possibility.
talking about smoking weed with max upside. Then we can get them on. Then we can get a trophy.
If they had 2 in the finals and 3 more on the podium, that could do it. That could do it.
Dang, dude.
I'm not saying that they will. I think that top 10-ish is more where I feel like they will end up.
Yeah, I do think it's a top 10 team.
So it's
Camacho.
like, yeah, if they have Camacho, if it's so if it's like max upside, Keith Gothard's friend, they could trophy.
Yes.
They could.
Yeah, I'm saying I still think that's a little bit much, but I'd say 8th is where I'm feeling for NC State, which is good. So higher, we all think this will be a higher ranked team than 17th come
I do.
NC2A wrestling tournament time. How many AAs? You gotta put a number. I'll give you an over under. I'll say 2.5.
Give me
over.
Give me the over.
Yeah.
I think 3. I think they're gonna get 3.
Yeah, I think so too.
Hey, when's our next watch party?
I should have done
When's our first watch party?
When's our
It's been a
first
long
party?
time.
It's been a long time since we partied. Well,
Let's party with max upside.
We were give Max upside in the chat, please. We were targeting November 11, but I think we may have a different plan now.
Yeah.
So, I think December 4.
Okay. Keith's asking for it.
Well, Keith, we're gonna be partying.
We're gonna be partying.
Don't worry.
Not like a max upside party.
No, more
Well,
like sitting in here watching wrestling, and talking
Drinking
about
coffee, maybe.
it. Yeah.
Maybe JD brings a bush.
JD will
Tall boy.
he'll crack a bush. He'll crack
Yeah.
a Keystone Light every once in a while. I
Yeah.
think, you know.
Let's go. The Flow HQ has just a preposterous amount of alcohol in the fridge right now.
But not this
ridiculous
building.
amount. Not this one. No. Not
The other one.
Not the party building.
No, the party building's pretty dry.
Yeah. Okay, so we did that. Let's see any. Oh, I forgot to paste the questions in here. Let's see. Stall for me, guys.
Also, I have NC State ranked number 12 in our dual team rankings.
But the question is, are they a actual better dual team, or are they just like? Is that because right now the rankings for the tournament side are not accounting for Camacho and not accounting for the strength of the team? I don't know. When you were factoring in dual rankings, were you looking at Camacho as part of the team?
I don't think so, but
Okay.
it was a long time ago now. I think with their team, you look at how they would fare against teams in like that similar tier and the tier below. I'm gonna try to like separate them into dual tiers. I felt like that was kind of where they fit in. But yeah, I mean Tremblay's not much of a drop off. Camacho, when you look at like a dual format.
Yeah, that's true. Did they get a bump for any furniture destruction?
With Trent.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
Yeah.
is that a forward bump or a regression?
Oh, that's forward all
Forward
the time. During that dual atmosphere, when you're breaking furniture, you're thinking.
I see. I think he's a dual liability in that way.
Oh, team point.
Team point factor.
Yeah, but if you give up a team point, but then that broken chair inspires Isaac Trumbull to go out and pin somebody.
Yeah, morale.
You just made up 2. You just got 2 plus 2.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's where the sabermetrics of wrestling really come into play.
Dude, the way the back of that chair just exploded off of
Yeah,
it.
he's detonated
It
it.
looks spring loaded.
What a beast.
Incredible.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good point. CJ Kemp wants to know, why do the top 4 teams at NCAAs get trophies? Is that in case of a tie? I've never really understood that. 4 is sort of a strange amount. 3 feels like the number.
They'll give 5 if there's a tie for 4th. They'll just make another one.
That's true.
Is he asking
I think that happened.
why they get trophies instead of some other kind of award?
No,
I'm just joking.
No.
I don't know. 4? Why 4? I don't know.
Why is it
Why
4?
Yeah,
I don't know.
They should be 3.
Should be 3, but I like 4 because then it makes trophy talk more of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do too.
It really expands the number of teams that can get trophies.
You know what was really an unfortunate realization that I had in high school. Our cross country team was 3rd in state twice. They give 2 trophies, just 2. We got 3rd. No trophy.
Oh,
for
dang.
3rd.
Well, Buffalo Gap got 2nd my sophomore year.
So you only needed 2 trophies.
I got a trophy. No, I didn't. I don't know what I got. What did we? We just got medals.
Mm-hmm.
Medals.
I mean, some international tournaments they give suitcases,
Jimmy Kennedy got a car once.
a car, apartment.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Better than trophy.
Yeah, it's really good. How does Sam Cooper? If you want to follow Sam, it's at SamCoop45235365.
Okay.
Got that?
Yep.
How does your opinion of Strachey change after his performance? IMO, it was just one position. It cost him the entire tournament. We have no idea how he'd fare in the finals. So I do think it was very obviously a freestyle position.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, you don't get 27 seconds on top without a turn. You get that much time if you're getting turns and then there's a little pause and you're kind of you could spend 27 seconds on top. You can't have 27 seconds to work for a turn. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Time was up. And because he fought it so hard that it looked imminent for a long time because it was. But no. So how does it change? It doesn't change, I don't think.
Well, for me,
I kind of thought he was going to win,
yes,
and he didn't. But
for me, listening to him speak about himself and his confidence, you started kind of convince yourself the guy cannot lose. Like he can't be beat.
Yeah, I was like, well, he's obviously going to beat everyone.
Like it just seems, and he wins close. He wins a fair number of close matches against the best guys, and so. It's like, oh, well, maybe he's just one of those people that's always going to win no matter how close it is, no matter how many times it's close. And so for him to lose, it's just a reminder that it is within the realm of possibility, on November 22nd at the All-Star Classic, it is 100% possible that Mekhi Lewis beats him. And if that, so it's not like I didn't know that before, but it was just, I guess, a reminder that like this guy is human. He is, despite what he, says about himself, like he has the ability to lose a wrestling match. And I don't know, like I was starting to think that maybe was never going to happen again.
Well, come on.
I mean, not never again, but I'm talking about this is not a guy that his opponent was not a guy that we were like,
no,
okay, watch out. This is, one of the top guys in the world or whatever. So I don't know. It just, it feels a little more, it feels slightly more vulnerable.
Yeah. I don't. From a folk style perspective, I'm not sure it means much of anything. It doesn't change a ton. I mean, he lost to Marsteller. Marsteller's elite, obviously. He's also beaten him. So I don't know. It doesn't change a ton. One thing that I kind of forgot is this is his first international tournament ever.
Yeah, good point.
And so there's a learning curve there. It's really different, and he learned that sometimes you get. He's probably defended 10-second leg lace attempts many times, 12-second attempts. Probably never defended for 27 seconds straight. Mm-hmm. So you get some things you probably never experienced in the room, and it's on the big stage. Now, his opponent did not win the finals, or give us a little. Do you have a little color there?
So his opponent, going into it, he really wasn't on my radar that much. Yergesh. But he had a solid year.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Your guess. So he had a good year. He beat Budajapov from Kyrgyzstan, who ended up taking world bronze at Senior Worlds last month. So he beat him earlier in the year. So, top 10-ish type guy, 15-ish in the world. But then he ended up losing to the Georgian in the finals, Gam Kralidze, who I think was the Senior Worlds rep and at Worlds a month ago and didn't place. So I don't know. You feel like Strachey is solid, like top 20-ish guy in the world. I think I have him ranked 14th or 15th right now, but definitely still, if you're looking at world level, you still feel like he's a tier or two behind the top top 5-ish. So where if he's gonna, I feel going into World Team Trials this year, I was like, man, is Starachi gonna beat Burroughs? You know, you kind of felt like, could this be the year? And now after U23s, I feel like there's still a level that he's got to jump if he wants to challenge someone like Jordan Burroughs or anyone else in that top 2-3 tier.
Yeah, and I think if you're gonna play a game that's close and it's about a couple exchanges, you can't give up big chunks of points. Okay.
He did score a lot of points early in the tournament, which was
He
really
scored
good
a lot
to
on
see.
that guy too.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he almost came back. So that part was really really good to see. Like, he was opening up. So
he's darn good. Darn good.
Very good.
Okay. Well, let's go. We did the show. This was fun. As you all know, we're on the Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going to keep announcing it for a while. So we won't be back tomorrow. We'll be back Wednesday. Ben will allegedly be back. We'll see. Who knows? This book thing could really take off. It goes for sale tomorrow. So I would encourage you to buy it. This is just free pub for his book because he's my friend. I want him to sell a lot of books. And I bet it's really good. Ben's an interesting guy. So please listen to that. We will see you on Wednesday. We hope you guys have a great, great Monday. I like starting the week with this show. I hope you guys do as well. Thanks so much, and we'll see you then.